This podcast is brought to you by RYYZN Make Life Workout, a health and self-development platform dedicated to helping busy, everyday Kiwis manage their physical health and upskill their mental well-being.
Through sharing relatable and practical content from health practitioners, as well as showcasing interesting stories from interesting people.
For more shows, content, events, and coaching, head to our website, www.ryzz-workout.com. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the High Frequency Club podcast. My name is Marwin Salerio.
And I'm Sinead Veman. We're here talking all things self-development, growth and mindset.
In this week's episode, we chat to the founder of the box office, Kurt McKee. He shares the stories of him being punched off his bike as a kid on a paper run, dropping out of school before he even finishes NCEA Level 1, and now owning 3 box office gyms that creates a space for everyday people to learn the craft of boxing as well as train competitive boxers.
Yeah, I think it was awesome hearing about how he had that vision from such a young age, and that's what drove him to eventually create these 3 gyms, and how he managed to do that even throughout COVID and having lockdowns as that happened as well.
Yeah, he chats on so much of the adversity and the triumphs that has helped shape them, not only just as a businessman, but as a father, and for him to create the culture that is in the box office.
Yeah, really great chat. So make sure you're following along at the High Frequency Club and check us out on YouTube as well.
Enjoy the show. Bro, thank you so much for joining us today, my G.
Not a problem, my friend. Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
We're obviously such big fans to the point where we are members at the box office, bro. What I actually really fucking love about the box office is how accessible you have made boxing for everyone. Cool. Like, in the past for me, at boxing gyms, it has been dark, dungeony, like a fighter's fight club.
Yeah.
I love boxing, but I can't take my friends here. Yep. Or even to the point where I'm like, I don't feel like I belong too much here, you know, because it's so intimidating. But I've been good friends with Chad for 10 years now.
Yeah.
And yeah, seeing him, you know, partner up with you and seeing what he was doing, I was like, fuck, this is sick, bro. This is where everyday people can learn the art and the skill of boxing, stress management, and feel welcome. And it's a good vibe. And there are normal, everyday people that you can relate to.
Yep.
Which is great. So, you know, you wear a lot of hats, Kurt. You're a business owner.
Yeah.
Father too. You're a partner.
Not wearing one right now, though, bro.
Bro, what do we have to know? What do we need to hear about your context to help us understand, you know, the man that sits with us here today?
Yeah. I guess it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey for me as a person. But, like, I mean, if we're talking about the box office, like, it all starts with a vision. You've got to have that vision, and it's just exactly what you said there. Like, it's really that basic. Like, if all I can say is I was an 11-year-old kid that went to a boxing gym. I grew up in Papatoi and went to a boxing gym, and it was like that. It was scary. Like, thought I was going to get beaten up, you know, like, had a lot of confidence, but, like, it was still, like, a bit scary, you know, and that had stuck with me because boxing's my sport. You know, people love rugby, people love league, people love netball, stuff like that. But I love boxing, passionate about boxing. And I wanted to, from that day, that moment, I've always wanted to make a place where people could feel like they enjoy boxing and there was no intimidation. They could just come along. It was boxing for everyone. It wasn't like box fitty kind of stuff. It was like actual boxing, and they could be a part of something. Because, I mean, there's also a huge thing in being able to support boxers, right? So you guys are both members of the box office in Grelin. So you guys know Maddie, you guys know Mikey and stuff. Like, it's awesome to be able to support them, right? Like, you can train alongside them. They're trainers. It's fantastic. So it's, again, like, that's kind of what the box office vision was from an 11-year-old boy. Was being able to be that kid in his dream when he got older. And that's what it's manifested into. And it's just sticking to that vision, you know, sticking to that vision and having a goal. And, yeah, I mean, the goal's not there yet, you know, like the goal, I feel like the goal just always keeps moving forward and forward and forward because it changes all the time. But the vision is there. That's the basis of what we got.
What got 11-year-old Kurt into boxing? What was the event that made 11-year-old Kurt be like, I want to do that?
Okay, so I had a paper run, right? And I used to really, really enjoy it. Like, you get paid nothing doing paper run, right? It's like $10 for like
a week.
Like, yeah, like $10 a week for like 3 runs, and yeah, at that point it's like, woo, $10. But I remember doing the paper run, and I was delivering to this mailbox, and I'd done it a bit late, and it was like getting a bit dark. And this kid, this guy, well, I don't know, kid, guy, whatever, just came up, and he just literally grabbed the front of my bike and just boof, punched me off my bike. And I was like, fell off. And I was like, oh, and then he took my bike. It's gone, you know? And I was just left with my papers like, oh man, I feel like an idiot right now. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to make sure that this doesn't happen again? And so I found the local boxing gym. And I was like, cool, I'm going to go along, I'm going to train. And I'm just gonna see if I can build some resilience and some confidence in myself. So if that happens next time, like, I can stand up for myself, because there was no way I was gonna be able to do anything. And that's what led to 11-year-old Kurt finding a boxing gym. Mm-hmm. It was just that moment, you know. And again, it comes from obviously like that fear kind of thing. But it was a great experience. Like, I don't think kids like that would ever like feel like that again. But for me, that was my experience that led me to boxing. And from there, I found the sport that I absolutely love. And I grew up in a family that was league predominant. So, like, my granddad played for the Kiwis, my dad played for Balmain Tigers, like, league. But I was like, I love boxing. This is my sport. And then, you know, you start finding people like David Tua and, like, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, and all the heavyweight greats. And then we come into, like, an era of, you know, great welterweights. You got Floyd Mayweather, stuff like that. It's just like, boom, this is my sport. And that's just stayed with me since then.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a very similar story on what got me into boxing. I got beaten up at school in front of half the school.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never going to allow this to ever happen again.
Yep.
I need to do something about it. So I went to the local boxing gym.
Yep.
And for me, it started off as revenge. And then it started to transform to build the resilience. I actually love the craft of this physical chess match, but if you fuck up, the stakes were so high because it hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Was that the same for you? Did it start off as revenge and then transform into something else? Because you ended up making a career out of it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, that's the thing though, is like, no passion, no point, right? And that's a great saying from Eddie Hearn. No passion, no point. So, like, my passion is boxing. So I was able to turn my passion into a career. And I mean, like, it's just 11-year-old me just had a vision of wanting to be boxing, but then that passion for that's the sport and the love of boxing, and, you know, the beautiful people that are in it, you know, like the likes of Chad and stuff like that, and just that whole boxing community is amazing. So that's kind of like what inspired the vision to keep going. And as I got older, when I looked at like what was around as well, like, you've got boxing gyms that are like what we discussed, like dark and scary, and you don't want to go there. Then you've got like some other boxing gyms that are kind of like on the opposite side of it, like they're not really stepping into the actual boxing, like it's kind of like, you know, woo, like we do boxing, Chad would do it, woo. But like, I wanted us to fit right into the middle of that, right into the middle of that market, you know, which is what I wanted boxing to be, and what it should be for everyone, because like, we want support. We need support for boxing. I could go into like everything about how I think boxing should be, and I have a vision for all of it. You know, I'll say this, like, one of the things for me is if I can leave this earth one day and I've changed the sport of boxing on a national level, even a global level, and done something that's brought more people to the sport, or more kids like me, or, you know, more people that have found a passion in boxing, then I've done something. You know, I've left something that I've done that was great, and I'll be happy. You know, I'll be fulfilled. There won't be like any ghosts sitting around my bed at the end, like, you could have done this, blah blah blah. It will just be like, I fulfilled my destiny. You know, and that's what's special to me about the box office. Yeah.
Describe to us your career as a boxer, and then how that changed for you to then retire and now become more of like a businessman in the sport.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, like, boxing, like, I never really took boxing as a sport to where I could have. Like, I had a couple of fights and stuff like that, trained really hard, but I've never had the opportunity to be able to sort of grow with that, because, again, I didn't have a place like the box office. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't. Yeah. So the vision kept going, right? So I didn't have a place like the box office. So 24-year-old me training every day, 3 times a day, but no actual real coach. No one that was actually like, cool, this is my gym, come train with us. And like, I feel like I had a lot of skill and talent, but there was just no place like the box office, right? That offered what I wanted to. So in my mind, I at that point, at like 26, 27 years old, was like, cool, I'm going to take myself and I'm going to train in boxing and I'm going to keep training. I'm not going to focus on fighting or anything. I'm going to focus on creating a place for people to be able to go to and box and fulfill their dreams and what they want to do. So like, for the likes of Mikey, Maddie, all our great amateurs that, Logan, Joe, all of them, have got that place where they've found their passion, that sport, so now they can do it. Because like I saw my role as being bigger than the fighter. Being the fighter, I love to be the fighter. But my role is not being the fighter. My role is bringing boxing to people and bringing people into boxing so they have the chance to be the fighter.
That's such a great story, because from what I'm hearing, it's that you didn't have the environment where you could have thrived as the fighter that you wanted to be, and then you got so sick of that you were like, fuck it, I'm just going to create my own environment to then give back to the other people who needed what Kurt needed back then.
Yeah, 100%. Like, but it's sacrifice, right? It's like in anything in business, like if you want to be able to get to somewhere, you've got to be able to sacrifice something. So my sacrifice was like, cool, starting out, I've got this vision, I've got this goal, I know where I want to go. I'm not going to be a fighter anymore. I'm going to make peace with that, and I'm going to sacrifice being a fighter to go and do something bigger, something more important, something that's going to not let me go and have to make that sacrifice, meaning that people can go and be fighters. They don't have to do that. I've already done that, and I've supplied it to them.
Because my next question to that was, describe that journey or transition of you making peace with not being a fighter anymore. Because now you've got the environment.
Yeah.
Is there no reason for you to get back into fighting now that you've got the environment with you? Do you still feel that itch?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That will always be there. That it's like a little fire in your belly, you know what I mean? Like it'll always be there. I mean, and to be honest, like, Moen, you're right. Like right now would be the perfect time to do that, because I've built everything around me to be able to have a go at it. But like, there's still so much more work to do that's important. We've just been through in the last 2 years the worst, economic financial disaster ever. And I mean, like, starting the box office right at the start of that was like not how I anticipated it to start. But it was like, to be able to become a fighter again, I could, but I'd need to also sacrifice a little bit of what I'm doing. And I've got a lot of work in front of me now, because we're coming out of COVID. We're starting to, see economic growth again. We're starting to look at people wanting to come back and train, people starting to invest in their brands again and stuff like that. I've got to focus on that while it's there right now. And there will be a time. I mean, I'm only 31, and I keep telling myself, like, you're still young. Like, you're still young. It's not over. And I definitely think there will be another fight there. My partner actually said to me, amazing lady, amazing, Katie's an amazing woman. And she's just so intuitive. But she was like, she's seen me training a bit lately, and she's like, I come home and she's like, you could have a fight again. And I was like, really? I was like, really? That's good. Yeah, really? She's like, yeah, I think you could. I think that would be a good thing. I was like, yes. So at least I know that, like, she will support it as well, because she's obviously a very, very important part of my life, and the box office, of course. Like, we started it together. So, at least I know that if I want to do it, the opportunity is there. Yeah. But I've just got some stuff I need to do first. Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Kurt McKee's coming back, baby. Why do you want to go back to fighting? Is it the process of fight camp?
It's the mental game, man.
Yeah.
I love the mental game.
Yeah, bro. I've just started sparring.
Well, that actually brings me to a question. I heard that you're having a fight on our next show.
Oh, hold on. You said that. So obviously, I've been training with the Box Office Central since January.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go support my bro Chad. He's got a new business, sick. And then I was like, actually, fuck yeah, I forgot that I love boxing this much.
Yeah.
And it also kept me off the fucking drink, because on Saturdays it's a good fucking time.
Yep.
And I always saw Maddie and all the boxers sparring every time after my class, and I'd just check it out, have a little look, and I'm like, no, but scary still. Scary for me, getting punched in the head. And now we're 8 months in, I've been training, and I'm like, hit Dylan up, hit Chad, I was like, yo, there's this little part of me that actually wants to fight. And I asked myself, like, why? And it is because of that mental thing. There's nothing more stressful than another man coming at you in a controlled environment. And it's controlled aggression, because if, as you know, if you're fully emotional about it, game over. You get clocked, right? And I've been to sparring twice, I've been beaten up twice, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You know? I wouldn't have it any other way. And I come back to Shanish, but how was sparring? I was like, bleeding nose, I got beaten up. But I'm just trying to be better by the session. By the session, just be better by the session. I'm not looking... Those guys are so good. The guys at the team are so good, but they're also so friendly. Like, they're so friendly. I know they're taking it easy on me, but then there are also times where they're like, this is the standard. And if they took it so easy on me, I would never fucking learn.
Yeah, you wouldn't level up. And like you said, it's that challenge that you've gone from classes where you are probably one of the more skilled people in the normal boxing class to now going to sparring where, like you said, you're the beginner again. You're the sort of almost the bottom of the class, and it's that challenge of still showing up and giving it 100% when you know you could easily just like not do it and keep thinking, oh, I'm the man. I'm good at what I do in the class.
And I hear my ego every time Polder fucking hits me in the nose. I'm like, why are you doing this, Marwan? Why are you doing this? You know? But it's because of that. It's because of the fear. And it's because I know that I will become a better person, not just from sparring, but having a goal of a fight later in the
Totally. I mean, it's fear that pushes you forward, right? It's that fear that actually drives you. And that's like anything in life, right? Like when you start a business, you actually don't know what the fuck you're doing. You have no idea. Like, I didn't go to business school. You know what I mean? I dropped out of school. I didn't even finish NCA level 1.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I think I was 2 months into NCA level 1, and I was like, fuck this, I'm out. Like, I know where I gotta go. I know what I gotta do. I'm out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 16.
I don't even think I was 16 in my own. I think I was 15, and they were like, you can't leave school yet. And I'm like, I don't care, I'm leaving school. Like, I've got to get a job. And I got a job, and it was like concrete laying, which was fucking horrible. Horrible shit. You know, middle of winter, you're getting up at 6 a.m, you're jumping in a truck with a guy.
Soul crushing.
It's like smoked 5 cigarettes before you even get to the site, you know? And he's, it's just shit. But I knew that I needed to start my vision. But it's like business, right? Fear, right? When I started business, I had no idea, and I was fucking shit scared because I had no idea what I was doing. But the fear drove me to just keep doing it, keep pushing, keep making this business amazing. So it's the same as with boxing. You know, and boxing is the one sport that I believe that gives you the ultimate fear. Obviously other combat sports and stuff, but like you said, it's you in that ring, right? It's you and the other guy on the other side, or the other girl. You know, that's what it is. You know, and it's you going up against them, and like you've got your team. And don't get me wrong, I'm a really strong believer, and your team is so important. So important. I can go into that a little bit more later, but like. Yeah, getting into that ring, it's the most scariest thing ever.
Yeah.
All the way to that point. From you training in January until you step into that ring, which will be in November 18th. November 18th, alright? It's all just fair to them. But once you get in there, honestly, the hard work is done at that point.
Yeah.
That's when you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You've worked, you've mentally and just physically just pushed yourself so hard to get to that point that you should enjoy yourself. You know?
I agree. Yeah, the thing that I'm most looking forward to is the Marwan that comes out over the next 3 months.
Yeah, totally.
And then when it comes to November 18th, the hard work is done. I look forward to meeting that Marwan that comes out of the hard work now.
Well, I think as well, there are moments, right, in this journey where you will be like, you will doubt yourself. You will doubt yourself.
And I do. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay,
every time. Right? Tuesday, 7 p.m.
Right, you got the best team in the business.
There they fucking go. Here we go.
But there are moments where you will doubt yourself, or where you will be like, I don't know, there will be times of fear. Like, everybody is different, but like, you know, some like building up to like one of my fights, I was like, I like there was one point I got bashed in sparring, right, by a guy that was like 10 times better than me, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. Like this, I don't know. Like, I don't want to. It was more so I don't want that to happen in front of other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, but what that did is once I like was like, well, it's happening anyway, and just pushed. Man, like the fear drove me to train harder, right? So by the time I stepped into that ring, I'd conquered that. I was there to enjoy myself, and I won my fight easily. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, obviously that was physically hard, but like I won my fight easily mentally because I was 10 times mentally tougher when I got on that ring because of that moment. So when that happens, don't give up. Just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, even last night after sparring, I was telling myself, I was like, one day you won't be a beginner. Just keep working. One day you won't be the beginner. Just keep going. But
Keep going,
the only
bro.
way for me to not be the beginner is to keep showing up, even when it fucking hurts.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's like, you know, the famous Mike Tyson saying, right? Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. All right? And they do. But like, it's how you take that punch in the mouth, right? What are you gonna do once it happens?
Yeah.
Are you gonna stop? Are you gonna go no, or are you gonna carry on and keep going? Because that's what a fighter is, right?
Yeah. On the first Saturday, my plan was to like, just go have fun, get after it. Got punched in the face by a southpaw. Did not realize he was southpaw, and I kept walking into the left. And the plan's out the window. I'm just like, holy shit, this is what it's like again to be punched in the face. And it's just survival. But come Tuesday, I actually have a plan of just like, just keep your left hand up. Whatever happens, just keep it up. You know? So even though I got beaten up, I'm glad that I at least got that objective done. And that was still one left hand up better than the last one.
Absolutely. And then next time you see that guy in the gym, go for him and then try again.
Polder.
Yeah.
No, great guy. What lessons did you learn from boxing that you now carry on into business?
Like, again, man, it's about the fight, right? It's about the fight. Like, boxing is all about the mental game, not letting the fear get the bit of you, you know, constant drive. You've got to keep working. And, I mean, business is very much the same. I mean, again, to, like, explain to you guys, like, the last 2 years for the actual whole economy and country, and then just throwing myself into this business, right? And not like having a vision and an idea and a goal, but also not really knowing the other parts and how this is going to work, and then also having this massive lockdown was like totally scary. Like, you know, but at the same time, I was certain about what I was going to do. You know, even when times got tough and like things were hard, and I'm like, shit, we've opened 3 gyms now, and now we're going into another fucking lockdown. Like, what are we going to do? I was certain we would get through it. I remained certain in my mind. And I think that's another thing, like, in boxing, like, and that's why, like, you see guys, like, after fights, they get so, like, they're cut, or, like, they didn't believe they lost. Anthony Joshua, perfect example, right? We just watched but we just watched the second fight, and he was totally upset, you know, he lost it. And
lost is cool.
Totally, but in his mind, he had so much certainty that he was going to win that fight, that when it didn't happen, it broke him. Right? So you've just got to be certain about everything you're doing, but also know that things are going to happen and they're going to be out of your control, and you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going. You got to improvise, you got to change your tracks, you got to decide that you're going to do something, you got to make sacrifices, and it all happens on the fly. But as long as you're certain about where you're going to go, it's going to happen. Yeah,
that is such, your story is such a great example of someone who didn't even finish NCAA level 1.
No.
Didn't go to business school. Still got after it, and now look at you where you're at, you know? Because there's a lot of people listening right now that want to take a plunge, whether it's getting into a fight or starting up a business, but say, I don't have the qualifications yet.
Man,
or
anybody can jump onto the company's office and start a business. Right? Anyone can do that. But you've got to have a vision, and you've got to have a passion, and you've got to know what you're doing. Like, again, love Eddie Hearn. Like, it's a great credo. No passion, no point. Right? If you're not doing it with any passion, then there's no point. You know, And that goes for anything, because otherwise you'll be like, oh, I'm not interested, I'll give up.
Yeah. Or as soon as there's an obstacle or something, you're like, oh, too hard, like, can't do this. Whereas, like you said, when you can see that end point of like, no, this is what it's going to be, you can kind of just see through those obstacles and be like, okay, cool, a bump in the road, but I know where we're heading. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I think if you're not passionate about something, you won't put in the consistency and the intensity to actually succeed at it. You'll just do it when it's convenient and do 50% or 40% because it's convenient rather than actually hitting it at 100.
Yep.
You know?
And I mean, man, like, you'll learn so much along the way. Like, again, you know, I didn't know anything about accounting. Now I know heaps about accounting. You know, like, I didn't know anything about the IRD. Now I know heaps of stuff about the IRD. You know, I didn't know anything about marketing. Now I know about marketing. You know, I didn't know anything about HR or managing people. Now I know everything. Like, you know, up until this point, like, I'd always had sales jobs, and I was really, really good at sales. I worked for a company called UE Insurance. It was amazing. Like, was there for 7 years, and it was fantastic. And I got myself to a point in that role where I couldn't go any higher. That they ended up just making me the IT manager for the New Zealand business. I knew nothing about IT. You know what I mean? They're like, we want to keep you around, so we're going to make you an IT manager. It's like, wicked, this sounds awesome. Like, new challenge, let's go, you know? But again, like, with business, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that I had a vision, and I knew that if I had that vision of the box office being what I want it to be, which is that middle business where everyone feels welcome, it's boxing for everyone. It's not just like, you're not just doing it for fitness, you're doing it as a community, you're supporting each other, there's boxes, it's everything. It's something to be a part of. That's all I needed, you know, and everything along the way would just, it would just happen, it would just work.
Any other person with 2 kids, COVID coming down, would have been like, no, I'm going to shy away. I'm not going to start a business. But you've got 2 kids. COVID was hailing down on you, and then you opened up Central. Were you at any point like, nah, fuck this, I've got to play it safe?
No, not until afterwards. Sorry. Not until afterwards. Look, I'll give you the timeline. So basically, I was at UE. I've been with Bruce Glozier. Bruce Glozier from Glozier Boxing. Amazing guy. Taught me so much. Bruce is incredibly talented at putting on amazing shows. He's incredibly good at it. Great trainer and everything. I spent probably like 2 years with him. Kind of doing, like, in a way, what turned out to look like an apprenticeship. You know? And just in boxing and being around, like, boxing as a business. Events and business and stuff like that. And so, like, just basically running classes for him. We were running classes at Flex and stuff. So it was really, really cool. And me and Bruce had a really great understanding for each other. And it came to the point where, like, I was at a point where Bruce was doing his thing. He was going off, like, he was going that way. And I wanted to do my own thing. Obviously the box office, you know, that was my goal. To be honest, before it was called the box office, it was called proper boxing. And, like, I had this, like, vision. It was like, you know, proper is 6 words, boxing 6 words, gonna look cool in a logo. And anyway, thank God it didn't go. But actually,
box office is definitely cool.
Me and Chad have this joke that one day we're gonna build, like, this little gym called Proper Boxing, and it'll be just for him and I to train in when we're older and stuff. But, like, yeah, so I mean, I had that vision and I was ready to move on, and so I always wanted it to start in Howick, because I grew up in Pepito, but I moved to Howick, so Howick is my home. My roots are there. I put roots down there. And my partner lives there with me. My son goes to school there. Like, and it's just a great community. So I was like, cool. The first gym has to be here. Now, trying to find a fucking place to have a boxing gym in Howick is hard. Right? There's nothing. Like, there's, like, very, very little places. Anyway, this little unit came up that was, like, I was actually going to watch the UFC at the bar next door, and I saw the sign that's like, unit for rent, and I was like, boom, there it is. There it is. I went down, I had a look at it. It was an old mechanic shop. It looked like absolute shit. And I was like, this is the box office. This is going to be the box office. I was like, I'm going to make this happen. So I rang them straight away. Boom, I want to see it. Got in there. Had a look at it, met the owner, landlord from Howick, won't go into it, he's a good guy, but he's also annoying. But got in there, had a look at it, was stoked, ready to go with the lease, and literally agreed to everything. We signed the lease, and I remember it clearly. We signed the lease that morning, boom, whoop, super excited, da da da. And then that afternoon we got our first COVID case in New Zealand. But like we didn't know what COVID was then, right? Had no idea. Like no idea what COVID was. Like we were just like, ooh, this virus from overseas is coming and everyone's freaking out about it, but we're gonna be fine, we're Kiwis. And anyway, it just snowballed so fast, right? It went from like COVID case to oh my gosh, it's getting out of control, and we went into lockdown. Yeah, you know, and I was like, oh my god, I just signed this lease, and now I got to start paying for money for something that I can't even use. What am I going to do? Anyway, it was a great thing because what it actually did was having lockdown, I was able to manage my job a lot more, but I was able to like just really get in depth with my vision and what I wanted to do. And like I was talking to people, I was like reaching out to mates that were in the UK and just everything, just pulling together what this vision should be and then just visualizing it all in my mind because, you know, and then I also was like, cool, what are the colors going to be? And I looked around and my favorite color is green. Right, green means go. Green means good. Green means, you know, awesome. Like to me, green is woo. You know? Yeah, I say it means money as well. But Katie reminds me we live in New Zealand. So, yeah. But anyway, I was like, cool. This is what it's going to be. So put all that together, and then I called up all my mates. I was like, look, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do this, but I need you guys to help me build what I want. Because I'm not a builder or anything like that, you know, and I got mates that are sparkies and everything and sign writers. And anyway, basically what I got stuck doing was the painting. Right? Have you ever painted for days and days on end? It sucks, honestly. That's why painters probably ask for so much money because it's fucking boring. But you're sitting in there painting and like you're just like, awesome, this is coming to life, and then all your mates come together and they build this amazing thing, and building how it was just an incredible part, and getting it open and everything was awesome. And again, from day one, what the vision was there, but like you do different stuff, and then, you know, like we had all these influencers come to the gym to do the first class, and like we had them, but then after they like came, I was like, but that's not like, why did they come? Like, why did we do that? That's not what we're actually about. Like,
interesting.
You know what I mean? I was like, so that's what I mean. You start to learn stuff on the fly because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know what the vision is. I know what the box office is gonna be. But I like all the stuff happening on the way.
The how is more involved.
Yeah, totally. You know,
fix it as you go.
Absolutely.
Course correct.
So you're just making it up as you go. But I had great people around me, great team, and I guess one thing that I will mention is like. Man, God bought me Henry Schuster. Straight up. Like, I didn't know who Henry Schuster is. And Henry Schuster is like the godfather of New Zealand boxing, right? Godfather of New Zealand boxing. And I started this gym in Howick. I was going to be the boxing trainer and a guy that I was working with at the time, Murray and stuff. But like, I'd never been a boxing coach as on my own before. Anyway, this guy, Murray says, I'm going to bring my mate Henry down. He's going to look, he might become a trainer. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Henry turns up in his truck, as he does every day to the box office. Turns up and he's got a smoke in his mouth, you know, got his big puffy jacket on. Comes down the drive and he's like, oh, hey. I'm like, oh yeah, who's this? I'm like, hi. He's like, Henry. I'm like, oh yeah, nice to meet you. And anyway, I was like, fuck, is this guy gonna be able to take classes? Like,
oh, I know the one that you're talking about now. Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, fuck,
the Godfather.
You know, the Godfather.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then he's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll come work here. I was like, cool. And at the time, he was working at Shane Cameron's as well, because he was Shane Cameron's coach David Tua. Wow. Yeah. And that's what, but I had no idea who Henry Schuster is. Yeah. Right? And so, anyway, Henry leaves, and I'm like, talking to Murray, I'm like, is he going to be able to take classes? Like, what the heck? Hang on, like, does he know how to, and he's like, nah, he's going to be great. He'll be fine. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I ring up Mick, and Mick Watson has like been my mentor for a lot of everything in my life. And I ring up Mick, and I'm like, man, have you heard of this dude called Henry Schuster? And he's like, Henry Schuster? I was like, yeah, he just came down to the gym and he's going to be a coach. And I'm like, he's like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, no. He's like, mate, that is fucking awesome. I was like, really? Like, no idea. Anyway, okay, all good. Hang on. And then Henry started with us, and it was just like, it's just ever since he's been like the godfather or the father of boxing to me. Like, he's just an amazing human that has helped me on this vision and made the box office. He's helped me make the box office from the beginning time what it is. So, like, God bought me Henry Schuster because he knew that, like, Henry came and he knew we were doing the right thing, right? He knew that we were on this vision to making this amazing gym, and Henry came and it was awesome. And that's what kept it like, you know, real boxing. So, you know, because at first I was like, we're going like influencers, like this doesn't seem right. And then Henry came and he's just the most amazing coach ever. And for the last 2 years, like he's like a grandfather, you know? And
that just goes back to what I was saying earlier, right before we started, was that I love that it is still the essence of boxing. It's not like a hit workout where you just go hit the bag, they say 1, 2, 3, and then you do weights and then that's it. Like you're actually learning how to box. And there are actually real boxers that are fighting, that are training with you, and the trainers are all boxers as well. But it takes away that intimidating factor because of how it looks, your interior. It's bright. People, the culture there is friendly. And I think that starts right from the people that work there. So, speaking on the culture, what was your strategy in helping achieve that vibrant feel, that welcoming feel? Because we both know that it could have been like, oh, it could be so intimidating.
It could have been proper boxing.
How did you make it accessible? How did you eliminate the intimidation?
Well, I mean, again, man, that's just been the vision from day one. Was to that was never even a part of the gym. It's never been a part of the gym. I mean, there's people that have come to the gym to join that I've literally personally told them, like, sorry, I don't think this is the right gym for you. You know what I mean? Like you have to protect your culture and your community. Like being obviously a business owner, but you know, being someone that's building something that's for a community of people, you need to protect that community. You know, sometimes the gym is not the right fit for that person. You know, but also again, like you said, hiring trainers that are about boxing, right? That are boxers, because they have been boxers. They've all stepped into the ring. They've all had fights, so they've all had that experience. But also, they're the ones that know how to look after boxing. You know, not just hiring just anyone. Like we kind of have we haven't just hired anyone. You know, we've always just been really careful and strategic about who we bring into the business, what they're going to bring, who they are as people. And making sure that it's the right fit. Because, like I said, it's a community, man. It is a community. It's something to belong to, you know, because that's what it's more. That's what makes it boxing as a sport, you know, is that community. So, and obviously the white was a big part as well. I wanted to have white. And then black and green, like all our t-shirts are obviously black and stuff like that, which, you know, the main reason why is, you know, black doesn't get that dirty and you can wear it all week. Yeah. You know, but like the white in the gyms and stuff, just to make it light and feel like you're in a place where you can be free and open and box and, you know, be happy. Like we've got white rival bags. Like everyone kind of said to me, like, why are you getting white rival bags? And I was like, no, they're going to be mean. A lot of cleaning, but mean, you know? But they're really, really nice. You know?
I think that's a great trade-off. Lots of cleaning, but it's a great trade-off to really set the culture of what the box office is. I think I was looking around yesterday at Central and I was like, it's the white that really makes it welcoming. Because it's bright, it's not dark, it's not dungeony. It's funny how it's like a colour can make you feel that way.
Oh, totally, man. But again, it's in the green as well, right? The green
adds
is
vibrancy.
Yeah, of course. Green means go. Green means don't look back. You know, like the color has so much meaning to it. You know.
So you hit Howick. COVID happened.
Yep.
What made you want to do Penrose then?
Oh,
you already went through the first lockdown.
Well, like, I mean, again, the growth was insane. Like, it just happened really, really fast, and it's kind of like I'd opened the one in Howick. Howick's going really, really well. It's awesome. We're really enjoying it. And then I had a friend in the UK that reached out to me, and he was like, "I'm coming back home. Is there a job for me?" I was like, "No, it's not really. Like, there's no room in Howick." But I was like, "Let me think about it." So I rang him back the next day after I'd like obviously had the brainwave and I'd been up all night thinking all these, you know, because that happens quite often with this thing. And I'm like up all night, I'm like, boom, like writing things down on paper, and like Katie's like, get in the fucking bed. I'm like, no, it's all coming out, it's all coming. Anyway, I ring him the next day and I'm like, we're opening a new gym. And he's like, what? I'm like, we're opening a new gym. We're going to open it together. And he's like, mean, awesome. So like, did that. He was actually in the UK for the whole time. So like, I found the place in Penrose. Really, really liked it. Didn't really put too much. Honestly, again, it all comes off a whim. Like, everyone's like, oh, put research into where you're going and stuff. But I just do it by feeling. Yeah. I'm like, this feels right. You know, it's right across the road from a train station. It's right by public transport. It's like on a main road in Penrose. Let's just put a gym there. And it was a cool spot. It looked like the box office. When I turn up to look at a new building, if I see the box office, I see it, right? Anyway, so I was like, cool, boom, let's do this one. We built it all. My mate came back over from the UK. And we started with 50 members, and in 5 weeks we were up to 100.
Wow!
So we doubled in 2 weeks, yeah.
Wow.
Or 5 weeks, but that was really cool, and it was all good. I had other visions for Penrose as well, because now we've put a cafe in there. It runs really well, you know, just doesn't stop. And then and then Chatty, I told Chad prior to making Penrose, I was like, right, love you, mate. We're great, but like, you've got to stop doing this thing. And he's like, what thing? And I'm like, you can't be going like around all these gyms, right? You're over here, you're over here, you're over here, right? Doesn't work. You're not gonna get any respect that way. All right, you've got to stick to a brand. You've got to become a brand man, and you're gonna be my brand man. And he's like, yeah, sweet, that's it. I was like, right, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna do this. And you're going to come join the box office Penrose, and it's going to be the only place you can be a trainer out of. PTs, everything, whatever. Oh, apart from DOS, he volunteered at DOS, but that was cool. But I was like, that's what's going to make you become a company man and get your vision, because Chad's got a vision as well, right? Chad's got his own vision, which I really support. But I was like, cool, you've got to come and be full-time. And he did. He made the commitment. And that played a huge part in us then going to Grey Lynn. And he did. And so once he'd committed to that, I was like, awesome, Chad's on board. Now let's just, you know, let's start, you know, more sleepless nights and paper and woo! It's funny, I'm having my own party at home, Katie's telling me in the fucking bed. And then, I was like, cool, we're going to do Central. I was like, let's do a gym in Central, Chad, for you. For, you know, like, let's build one in Central that's going to be your gym, that you're going to be there, and that's your people, your community, stuff like that. And he's like, let's do it. So we started looking for spaces, and we found what is Grey Lynn now. We only looked at 2. Again, I turned up, saw it was a box office. We were extremely lucky to get that space. They turned down F45, they turned down a couple of other businesses and stuff like that. And the reason why we actually got that was because the owner of the building, Sir Michael Freelander, liked boxing.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's what I was told. So he was like, cool, I like boxing, they can go in there. And like, you know, amazing space. It was already painted, which was amazing. It didn't have
I was
paint.
already white. That's a good bonus.
So I was like, yes, that's a perk. Katie was stoked about that as well. And anyway, cool, done. Yeah, awesome. Literally, again, and this is just a fucking reoccurring thing, and I won't have it again. But anyway, we got the lease, everything, we signed it, pen to paper. It was August the 16th, right? It was August the 16th. It was 2:30 in the afternoon. Signed it, done, woo, send it off, fucking yeah, woo, yeah. Me and Chatty having a celebration at fucking Penrose, woo, yeah, it's gonna be mean. And then Chad got this text from a mate of his, and it was like from a mate that he knows that's a police officer, and he was like, hey bro, blah blah blah, just so you know, we're going into lockdown in an hour. Or there's going to be an announcement about a level 4 lockdown in an hour. And we honestly burst into hysterics. We're like, fuck off. There's going to be like one of those stupid texters going around, you know? The link on it you might open and something kind of fine. Yeah. Anyway, we were laughing about it. And then no shit, fucking that happened. It was August the 16th. And like we had, till midnight, and we were going to be in level 4 lockdown. And I was like, holy fuck, here we go again. Here we go again. And it was just been a ride. Like, again, we faced so much adversity with opening Central. We had freight issues, because all of the stuff that goes into the box offices I've sourced from around the world. So It's not like we buy anything. Nothing gets bought locally. We buy everything overseas. Because basically, I mean, like the racks and everything, they come from the people that make the stuff for the UFC. Right? So I found them and I was like, cool, those are what I want. Anyway, so we had freight issues. Like, you guys were members in January. Remember, we only had like 8 bags.
Yeah. I remember because we came to the open day. I came to the open day.
Yeah.
And Chad was saying that it's not finished.
Yeah.
We have to do this open day.
So we had, we're gonna get fucking open. Well, because like in our lease, we got like 3. I think I negotiated it was 4 months lease free.
Wow.
And that was gone. You know what I mean? Because fuck COVID, like that lockdown and all that shit ate all that up. So we didn't even get a chance to get started. Like we were starting like, I was like, holy shit, this is going to be alright. You know, we literally started with nothing. And also trying to get people to join a gym during, we're in January, the 10th of January, trying to get people to join a new gym that's in a new area. Like, people are aware of the brand, but like, it's a new gym. And we're in the middle of Omicron. We've got mandates. You can only have people that are vaccinated, stuff like that. It was a fucking nightmare. Nightmare. Now, when we've opened Howick, or when we've opened Penrose, like, easily 50 plus members, right? Foundation members start on the day. Man, Graylin had 13. 13 members, right? It was like, I was just like, wow, this is hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. But it was also honestly fun and exciting and everything else. And, you know, there was so much cool stuff that happened in building that gym. You know, there's some great moments, like, you know, obviously seeing Chad, like, can't paint to save his life. You know, like, also, I'll throw another one out there. You know, Chad just needs to shut up and listen sometimes. You know, I literally was ordering the bag rack and I was like, right, it's got to go all the way around from here to here. And he's like, no, but we need it. We need a rack, like a squat rack, like you've got in the garage. We need a squat rack, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, we don't need a fucking squat rack yet. Like, just, okay, we're going to get as many racks in here as we can. No, but we need it for like PTing and stuff like that. Literally got it set up and Chad's like, oh yeah, fuck, we should have got the bags there. I was like, you idiot. I was like, we're a boxing gym. I told you this.
It's funny because we actually did a podcast episode with Chad. And that was at a time where our friend was quite lost. And he was doing at different gyms and I could feel the frustration from Chad. And he keep in the episode keep mentioning a guy who sold Rival.
That's
and
me,
it was you. And to have you here now is such a full circle. To hear your end of the story. Well, like, I mean, for me and Chad, like, again, it comes with sacrifice. You know, great things come from sacrifice, and that's the truth. Like, I had an amazing guy who started with me in Howick, Andrew Purdon. You know who Andrew Purdon? Okay, so Andrew Purdon was a boxing trainer at Boxing Only. Then he went overseas and did like a whole lot of training and of boxers like in Scotland and stuff like that. Anyway, he came back to New Zealand. I just opened the box office and I needed like a trainer or like, you know. Anyway, I knew he'd come back. I messaged him and I was like, man, come do a PT for me. And I got him. He was like, oh, where? I was like, come to my gym in Howick. And he's like, oh yeah, that's going to cost you extra from coming to you. I'm like, yeah, fucking sweet as. He gets there, right? He doesn't know, but my plan is actually to hire him. And so anyway, we do the session. I'm like, oh, bro, you want to become a trainer? Bro? He's like, oh, fuck, yeah, okay, this place is cool. Yeah, I was like, me. So Andrew became a trainer, and then through Andrew, who was obviously a great help to me at that start, he introduced me to like Box a Few, Chad, because I didn't know any of those guys, just from Instagram, right? I didn't even know who Chad was. And then I got Rival, and so Rival's like another thing, so it's a separate business to all the gyms, but I was able to become the authorized reseller for New Zealand for Rival. And we brought on over the Rival, and I had all this gear turn up, and we wanted to do a photo shoot. So I said to Andrew, I was like, oh, invite some people along, and we'll get some photos. Awesome. So we do that, and then Chad turns up, right? Little fucking hedgehog looking motherfucker. Yeah, and he's like, shadow, you know what he's like, fucking shadow boxing everywhere. I'm like, what is this guy? And Andrew's actually leaving. He's bought a house in Christchurch, and I needed to replace him. And at first I was like, I was thinking about Box a Few. And then Chad came along, and I was like, fuck, I like this guy. This guy's fucking hilarious.
Henry knew Chad obviously through all the amateur boxing and stuff, and Ina knew Chad, and they were like, "Yeah, Chad's a great guy." So got Chad, and anyway, for Chad, I'd hired him to do a 6 a.m. class on a Friday. And if you know Chad is knocking out his fucking bed.
He's not a morning guy.
He's not a morning guy. He's a fucking terrible morning guy. Anyway, so he'd come over and take the class, and obviously this is where sacrifice is, right? He didn't want to do it, but I convinced him. I was like, "Yeah, I need you. There's no buts about it. I fucking need you. You're coming, all right?" Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway, so he just kept coming, and I'd get him to PT me afterwards, and me and Chad and like Katie back to stuff. Once you get me and Chad talking, it doesn't stop for hours, right? And anyway, talking to Chad, doing the PT, and it got to the point where we weren't even PTing, we were just talking for 45 minutes, right? And I was like, "Fuck this, just come over, I'll pay you for the PTs, and we'll go get a coffee every morning." So he'd do the class, and then I'd meet him, and we'd go get a coffee and talk everything boxing and stuff for hours. And that's how it started with Chad, right? So again, it's his sacrifice, my goal, my vision, my drive that came together in order to create Grey Lynn, right? If that had never happened, then Grey Lynn would never have happened, right? It wouldn't have. And if Chad had not like listened and committed to coming to Penrose as a one trainer man, then maybe Grey Lynn. So again, it's those sacrifices, but it's also that vision, because I had the vision. I was like, "Fucking Chad, you're coming with me," you know, like not saying no, you know, and that's what's made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, me knowing Chad when at a time where he was still at Les Mills to where he's at now, he's thriving, and I love. I love
not at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, probably not. Even at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, you can tell he's still battling. But the main thing that is consistent, whether it's at 8 a.m., 6 a.m., or when I see him at 7 p.m., is that my bro is thriving.
Yeah,
and it's so good to see my friend happy.
Yeah, of course, man, and same, like, and it's the same for all of our box office team. Like, you know, what started off and how it with just me and Henry and, you know, a couple other trainers has turned into, I think we're at like 19 trainers now.
Wow.
You know, 19 trainers, and they're all amazing people. They're all great people. Polder, Dre, you know, Tremaine, Mikey, Emma, Ina, like the team. It's yeah. I mean, but they're all amazing.
Empire.
Yeah, but like it didn't start out like that, bro. You know, like it's just like it's just a vision, man. Yeah. You know, a vision that's growing.
Wow.
You know?
Les Mills has 30 at Britomart, and you got 19. That's pretty
I
fucking
got 19
good.
across 3, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But you guys are the first people I've really spoken to about this.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is exclusive for us then.
Yeah.
But this is the best part about what I love about podcasting and tapping in and talking to other people who are making impact in their communities. Is the members and your coaches that see you would love to hear this. And it's just giving people the space to then talk about their story and actually get to know the person behind the business and why. And if anything, it enrolls people. Because like now I'm like, fuck, I want to support Kurt even more. Because now I know where you've come from, bro.
Thank you.
I know where you've come from. And the members will feel that as well. You know, because it enrolls them. And actually like, oh, not only is the box office a great place to train, it comes from a great story. And I can get behind that fucking story. I see myself in that purpose. And I'm not just here to train anymore. I'm here to, you know,
be part of that community.
Be a part of, and the purpose. And the purpose.
Yeah.
What was your question?
Yeah. So obviously you are a busy man with being a father and a partner and a businessman. What are some of your non-negotiables that help keep you on and able to do what you do each day? Yeah,
you have a great energy about you, by the way. So I remember the first time I met you, you knew my name and you hugged me like we had known each other for age, and I was like, who the fuck is this dude? I didn't know you owned it at the time. You're like, Marwin, sup, bro? And I'm like, who's this dude coming to hug me? I was like, sup? And this, you know, you've got this vitality about you.
Actually, I'll tell one story. That's a very good story. I'll tell one from Friday. Chad started at Penrose. And I remember we started, and this guy came in, didn't know him, never met him before, whatever, just comes in, and I'm like, sup, bro, how's it going? Just meet this me. I'm like, sup, bro, how's it going, man? Come here, how's your day, bro? Just having a yarn and stuff. And I was like, mean, bro, thank you so much for coming. And then I just kind of dwindled off. And Chad came over to the guy, and he's like, sup, bro? Oh, how's it going? What's your name? He's like, oh, Sean. He's like, oh, do you know Kurt? He's like, nah, that's the first time I've ever
That's exactly how I felt when I first met you.
I know. That's just me. But I think, like, to answer that, it's it's a like it's changing again. Like again, it's changing on the fly. Like I tell you what, the last like 12 months have been really, really hard. Right, really, really hard. To the point where you're just constantly working, and you've got a new baby and everything. Like you're just not really finding time for yourself. To now that I've prioritized that, and like I've started 75 hard, so I'm doing that, and it's amazing. But like again, it's making me feel like me again, and I can see the box office love coming back and all that. So like routine for me at the moment, like. I've started reading the 5 a.m. Club. I don't know if you guys heard that book.
Robin
Yeah.
Sharma.
Yeah. So I've started reading that. So I'm up to getting up every morning at 6 a.m. I do an hour and 15-minute walk. I've got 5 or 6 like motivational things that I listen to. So like one is Denzel Washington, one is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then there's like a bunch of Tony Robbins stuff and like Steve Harvey, and I just listen to those. It's repetitive, but it's awesome. I love it. And then I get home, I have a banana, and then I go straight to the gym, and I'm doing all that, and then I've done that, and then I'm home to have breakfast with Katie and talk with the kids and stuff, and I can start my day before 9. That's kind of like where that at. But like for me, training is so important. So important. Like you need to be able to train, but you need to have that time for yourself to be able to operate. Because if you don't like put time into yourself and love into yourself, then you can't actually like love other people. You know, like you just don't, because you need to be happy with inside to be able to be happy with other people. And you know, emotion is everything. Emotion is everything, especially in the business that we're in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not feeling well and you feel like crap, you're not going to like come into the gym and be like, hey, sup, brother, woo, you know?
Yeah.
So you've got to be on like that all the time. So you've got to make sure that you're investing in yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
We've just got a couple more questions before we close this conversation. Obviously, keep the sensitive information to yourself, but what is on the horizon for the box office? What's next for Kurt?
Oh.
What can we expect?
Yeah. I think at the moment, like, what's really got me really excited is our boxing team, as our boxers. The potential of Mato Matai. So excited for him.
He's
Mikey,
a gun.
Mikey Magic. Super excited for him. And obviously Chad with his team at Grey Lynn, all the amateurs that he's got there, RC in the team, ones you see the sparring and stuff. And then basically from Howick, same thing. Logan, Joe, and Henry in our team there, and then Harry. So Harry's just started with us at Penrose. He's taken over and he's got a great team going there. So what's exciting for me right now is we're starting to see boxing coming back. All right, we haven't been able to do that because of COVID, lockdowns, mandates, whatever. But now we're starting to see boxing coming back. We've just put on our most recent show. And we've got the headlining act coming up on the November the 18th. You know? All right. So I think at the moment what's in the works is just getting this boxing stuff really going. And giving, again, our community, our members and our team the sport they're there to support, you know? And like the likes of yourself and stuff, man, you know, giving you guys the opportunity to box on a stage that you feel comfortable and enjoy it, and it's really cool and you know it's put together really well. That's what it's about. So at the moment, in terms of what we're doing, I'm really excited about shows and events, and I've got a really, really big one planned next year for March. I won't go into too much detail.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we've got a really, really big one planned next year for March, which is going to be epic. So again, this is how long shows take to put together. I'm working on a show for March now. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm working on I was working on the November one before we did the August one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of work and stuff that goes into that. So that's what I'm really enjoying, because that stuff's really fun for me. And look, hey, there's 3 box offices. If I turn up at a building and see one, it might just happen again, you know?
If there's another lockdown, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's opportunities there, and it's actually interesting. Shanae and I were talking about this downstairs before I came up. Was, you know, with a box office, though, it can't just be you can't just open a box office and be like, here's some trainers, go. You know, you can't replace, or you can't just go into Trade Me Jobs and put an ad out and find Henry Schuster. You know what I mean? You can't put an ad out and find the next Chad. No. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. Like, in terms of a boxing coach. So, again, that's a really, really important part of the box office, is having that boxing coach. That's a great coach, people respect, and that we can push boxing through. Because, again, that comes back to the centre of the vision. It's the boxing. So, again, coaches, if there's any out there, you know,
call out.
Obviously, the box office is a great family, and we love it. But boxing plays a big part. So that would be the next succession, is to more boxing coaches, and
awesome.
Yeah.
So, bro, last question: if you could speak to the 16-year-old Kurt who was dropping out of school, who was just about to get out of NCAA level 1. He was right here in front of you, and he had open ears waiting for your advice. What would you tell him?
Hold on. I would obviously. I would just say, again, just stick with your gut. Stick to your gut. What your gut tells you is right. Just stick to what you're doing. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Don't let any naysayers tell you that you can't do anything, or that that's not going to be possible, or you shouldn't do that. Just stick to your gut and follow your vision, because nobody's going to live that vision for you. So stick to your vision, stick to what you want to do, and chase as many goals as you can. And stop drinking. Stop drinking and smoking cigarettes in the park.
Mr. Kurt, thank you so much, bro, for giving us the space and the opportunity to hear your story.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
As we said earlier, we are such huge fans, and I'm so grateful to be a part of the box office community and to be able to get to know the person behind the brand. Motivates me more to contribute the best way we can, and I hope this podcast helps that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really, really exciting. It's been awesome. I've really enjoyed this.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for listening, guys.